I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the immense Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Diving Pro Geographic U.S. Navy SEALs. A 2009 limited edition of 300 pieces. You can see this 18-karat rose gold Diving Pro Geographic and buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now, this is one of the most massive watches I have ever experienced, and I mean that in the strictest sense. The mass of this watch on my wrist surpasses anything I've ever worn on a strap. It feels as though it's a full-sized sports watch on a bracelet, and that's just by the weight of the 20mm thick, 46mm round, and 55mm lug-to-lug 18-karat case. This is a boomer missile sub for the wrist. There's no doubt the watch has both physical presence on the wrist and visual presence. I will say that I can wear it securely, but this is going to be one that is purely a function of personal taste. In terms of whether or not it works for you, I think ergonomics are going to work out for most people. My wrist is 16 centimeters, 6.3 inches in circumference, but given the height, the mass, and the sheer image that this watch projects, like an X-ray, there really isn't going to be any middle ground between love and hate, and that's okay because this is designed to be a provocative watch. It's also designed to be a remarkably functional watch. First and foremost, you can see this watch features a unique outcropping at the edge of the case, and that outcropping houses an IWC-inspired mechanical depth gauge. You can see the device, and you can actually test it pre-dive using the spring-driven plunger. You can actually see the guts of the device from this angle. It measures down to 80 meters. The watch itself has water resistant to 300 meters or 1,000 feet, so it is a true ISO 6425 dive watch in every sense, but it's also a lot more. Now, the upgrade to the Master Compressor Diving Pro Geographic, first released in 2006 and reissued as a Navy SEALs model in 2009, comes in the form of this full ceramic bezel. It has a nice crisp detent, both in terms of the feel and in terms of the sound. And you can align the loomed index with the minutes hand for an impromptu 0 to 60 minute dive timer. Thanks to the addition of ceramic, it gives the gold case a little bit of a heat shield, absorbing many of the blows that ordinarily attack large, tall watches on the wrist. If you've had an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore or an Hublot Big Bang, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So JLC has installed ceramic about the bezel to ward off scratches and scuffs. The dial has incredible depth, appropriately enough for a dive watch. You can see the mechanism of the mechanical depth gauge in action, but you can also see that there's a wonderfully visible and quite common sense calibration to the diving depth gauge. The mechanical depth gauge, reading down to 80, is nicely separated from the time-telling functions of the watch. You can also see that there are two time zones separate, and I'm going to show you how you access that, because if you're familiar with JLC's Geographic time system, neither a world time nor a dual time, but employing the best elements of both, then you kind of get a sense of how this watch works. So I'm going to give you a little exhibition. I've opened up the compressor crowns, 1/2 turn either way, locks, and offers 300-meter water resistance, or unlocks. It's a great alternative to a traditional screw-down crown. But when I pull this crown right here, I can cycle. Let me just pull it out completely. The geographic function. So I'm in New York right now, so I can set the second time zone, which has its own little index at 9 o'clock, and you can watch that second reference time zone migrate in sync with the geographic function. Now, if I want, I can also set the hand at center and advance the entire mechanism in sync. Or I can set the crown to its second position and advance the hour hand at center, which drives the date independently. So I can use this as a true dual time zone watch, or I can synchronize the center and reference time zone and then cycle through the reference cities for quick consultation to find the time of day at places throughout all 24 of the world's principal time zones. It's a great combination, again, of the dual time and the world time that saves you the mental math by automatically making the adjustment on the reference dial. Now, the watch features a JLC caliber 979. It's a 48-hour power reserve automatic winding movement with 29 joules and 274 pieces. It does use unlubricated high-efficiency ceramic rotor bearings. It does have the more efficient unidirectional winding system. It's free-sprung, so it can kind of shake off the shocks and disruptions that could ordinarily disrupt timing of a conventional escapement and balance. The watch also features the signature geographic function and the appendage of the mechanical depth gauge. Now, it's a hacking mechanism, so you can stop the movement and halt the constant seconds indicator, which you can see right here at 5 o'clock, for precise synchronization to a known accurate clock or dive timer. This is a limited edition of 300 pieces, as mentioned, and on the case back you can see the U.S. Navy SEALs warfare device, the eagle holding a gun and a trident over an anchor. One of 300 pieces, this is a watch that's rarely seen. I get to experience some of the most exotic watches in the world, and I have a particular eye out for JLC exotics, and yet this is the first one that I've seen even in my experience. You can see this one, and you can buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com.